Hello, family and friends. It is week 8 on my road to Busselton Ironman journey, and I am recording the next day. It's not Sunday evening as normal, so I'm going to get into it. I have a set of points that I go through so that my info doesn't get random, sticks to a structure, and hopefully makes good sense. So it is the end of race week, as mentioned, week 8, and yesterday was a standard distance race. All right, so how am I feeling? I would say an 8 out of 10, so that's pretty right up there. My training distances: swim 5k, that's quite low, but includes the race from yesterday. The cycling 175 and running 15k. So yeah, quite lower distances, but not surprising when you do a proper taper for a race. So my weight, 83. I guess I've been thinking about including that. I guess it's an item that you just need to track to make sure that if there's in either direction, there'll be reasons for that, and you make sure that those are in the right, that's happening for the right reasons. So I also noticed my resting heart rate over the last 2 weeks because of the work project which finished. That had been well and truly around 50 beats per minute, and over the last week in particular, it's returned right down to the normal place of around 45. Can go to 44, but 45 at the moment. So that's also a very good indicator that you're recovering well, that in a number of ways. So I think I might include that ongoing. All right, next item, things learnt from the training. This week, I actually wrote down nothing in this column. However, just thinking about it now, I'm saying it out loud. It was quite a weird week. You might remember that the training load was significantly low, as represented in those training numbers. So I was actually worried I was going to be underdone in terms of the lead up. So the programming by the coach, I think, was pretty good. I'd say very good, because it was a good performance. So I guess what I learned is to try and shut out what the mind is saying, because the mind goes a bit nuts in race week. Closer you get, you got weird things going into your mind about, have you done enough? Have you done too much? What are you eating? Those sorts of things go through your mind. So what I learned is just to trust in what you are doing. Injuries and niggles. So still no injuries, which is good, but the only thing continuing on is that battle about Achilles tendonitis. So just need to keep the fight going consistently with the regular, it's not just strengthening, but it's stretching exercises. So I'm going to try and line up a medical appointment to see if I can get some diagnosis. But I think things are on the right direction. We're certainly not out of it, but I'm noticing that when I get up, it is tight, that's normal, but it does disappear pretty quick after the wake up. And a couple of runs, in particular the race, the right heel did not cause me any trouble. It was sort of there, but then not there. So we're very low on the pain perceived effort scale, so that's a very good indicator as well. So just motivating to stay in the regime, otherwise it's, as you know, a potential showstopper for the main event in December. So equipment and maintenance, there's been a bit in this category because I've had some equipment arrive. My 2 spare tyres, so that's one spare tyre for the commuting bike to work and home, and the other one is the race bike. So those 2 spares arrived. I've stretched those and put those tubes, which are glue-on tyres, under pressure. So they're ready to be used as a spare, as they are. And I also ordered some cleats. You might remember about the speed group ride, of which I've only done twice, and I'll be doing that tomorrow morning because I'm working days. So if you can see this is the blue cleats, which have less movement. I've been using yellow forever, and yellow simply wasn't available, so I went with the blue set. So yeah, very happy with that. So I'll get those fitted probably today. I cleaned and lubricated the race bike chain. That's not the main race bike, but the bike that I chose to use for the bike yesterday. I got some socks, which I also used and tested in the race, which I was very happy with that. They're quite thin, but the shoes I use are quite snug, so I was very happy with that, no issues. And got a new pump, which seems to be performing very well too. So the other one still gets to stick around. I've noticed some weird things going on, so we'll see how that continues. But the new one seems very good. So achievements and failures. So really, because there was no real training sessions that were like big and scary or super challenging, although I think I did quite well in the trainer session on Thursday morning. That was really a very achievable session. But I think that I'll add this into my race report. So on to the race report now. No real failures either, by the way. So the conditions for the morning were quite cool and probably weird for everyone who was on the start line because it was quite low in temperature, but they did not allow wetsuits. So that was probably the weirdest part. There was a nice cool breeze, which was low in speed, so that was pleasant. So those were the conditions. Now the swim. So I swam 29 minutes and change, which in a 1,500 metre course, that translates to 2-minute pace. Now that is absolutely pedestrian. So you obviously don't stop your race because of that. But anyway, you look down, you live with it, and you move on. In a wetsuit, you certainly want to, well, for someone like me who benefits very much from a wetsuit, I would have been expecting around the 25-minute mark, and I think that would have been achievable. There was no real current, although I think on the last turn we had to work a little harder, so maybe there was just a little bit in there. But yeah, there's no way that it would be credible to swim 2-minute pace in a pool. That's just not possible. And swimming out in the ocean in salt water environment certainly should be swimming better than 2-minute pace. So we move on. The bike course was very flat. In fact, pretty much no elevation in it. So there was probably, I think, around 17 kilometres of straight flat. So where you could get up some good pace, and heading out to the turn, there was certainly anywhere from 35 to 40 kilometres an hour possible, which those were the excellent parts. And then when you turn around, it's probably closer to 27 to 32. So you certainly had to work and just be careful. So I was being conservative. I came in at 1 hour and 9. It's probably my poorest on that type of bike performance, but I was happy with that because I was being conservative and racing more what will be needed in the next race, which is the 70.3. So it certainly did bite into the hips, but yeah, I would normally expect to be around probably 105, 106, 107. So yeah, not disappointed with 109 because, like I said, I was being conservative and consistent. The run is what I was particularly happy with. I did 43 minutes and change. Now, I do have to admit the run was 500 metres short and the bike was 1 kilometre short. So anyway, you've got to disclose that. But very happy with the race overall. For me, it's more about the run, because you can bleed so much and it can hurt so much, because it's the last part before you get to stop and relax. So I negative split the second half. That's a bit of an achievement, because most times it'll be a downward spiral, and that's okay. So I was very happy that I was able to negative split the second half. Once again, conditions were really good. It was an 80% covered course, in my opinion, and there was certainly some elevation which sorted people out. So yeah, good result, and I finished up with third, and that's why I was able to get a third place. So very happy with that. First time ever that I've been on the podium for my own performance. And my club also, in the club awards, were third. So that was a very good result by the club I was involved in. So my third place qualified me for the World Championships in Spain next year. So yeah, won't be travelling to Spain for a 2.5-hour race. But yeah, confidence is high from that performance yesterday. So looking at the training week ahead, we have 2 weeks of speed. That's so the training week ahead's not been populated because the club is still celebrating, and the coach will be back to putting the programming in, probably when he's feeling better. So there'll be two speed weeks ahead, and then 1 taper week. So that's the 3 weeks into Sunshine Coast 70.3. What I can see in the program is Saturday morning has a 3.5-hour ride, and I'm guessing with a probably 1-hour run after, or maybe a little bit less. We are being careful to keep the run volume low while I'm continuing the rehab work in progress. So I'm looking forward to that. And Sunday has a 3-kilometre jump off a ship and swim to shore. So if you make it, you get to have breakfast. So that would be good. And we'll head off to church after that. But yeah, a 3-kilometre swim, which I will be using my wetsuit. That will be a good practice for the Sunshine Coast race. So yeah, we're sitting in a good position at the moment. Confidence is high. So looking forward for the run into Sunshine Coast. And then it's all about the long and sustained preparation into the full distance race for Busselton. So if you would like to see my Garmin data, send me a request. Happy to include that. Yeah, follow if you'd like to. Yeah, have a good week yourself, and more to come at the end of week 8, and we'll be into week 9, which is going to be speed week 2. All right, thanks for watching.